So it's official. He's gone.
We're going to do that as well with this next major development in the story we have been following since late Wednesday night there out of Lewiston, Maine. And we're learning right now that the suspect in this shooting, 40-year-old Robert Carr, has been found dead. This is a major update. This is a major development in this story. And so we want to put up this tweet from our own Fox's Jackie Heinrich, and she tweets out this. Breaking, Lewiston, Maine, mass shooting suspect Robert Carr found dead. Law enforcement source confirms to Fox. And so I believe we have a live picture out of Lewiston, Maine at the moment. Remember, just mere minutes ago, we were previewing for you from the Maine State Police that there would be a press conference starting at 10 p.m. Eastern. We have that tweet. We want to put that tweet up because no doubt there would be some type of development. There was a late night press conference called, and we want to put that tweet up if we have it from the Maine State Police. And they alerted us saying they were calling a press conference at 10 p.m. Eastern tonight. So we'll get that tweet up in just a moment. But as far as we know, and according to this reporting, 40-year-old Robert Carr, who walked into that bar and bowling alley on Wednesday night, is and has been found dead. We don't know the nature of where, and we don't know exactly how long this has been known by law enforcement. Remember, a massive manhunt has been ongoing for the last 48 hours. Let's bring in our friend, national security expert, emergency response expert, Hal Kempfer wears many, many hats. He was speaking with us on Wednesday night when this was all unfolding. He joins us yet again. And so, Hal, I just want to talk to you about your reaction to this. Right, I was somewhat surprised that this took 48 hours. What say you?
Andrew, it depends on where it happened. And I'm going to go with the assumption that
it is blocked off right now, but down that road is Maine Recycling, and that's where Robert Carr's body was found from a self-inflicted gun wound. I was checking out Google Maps to see just how far this road goes, and it goes down for about another half a mile, then loops back around. So there's a lot of road here that we just can't see. I'm doing my best to look down this road. There's some trees in the way, a Walgreens, but I see at least 2 law enforcement vehicles down there, and it's likely that there are even more down there. And we are along the busy Lisbon street right now, and I was talking about how a little earlier that this is a much different place compared to where we were yesterday. We were in rural Bowdoin, yesterday as law enforcement were coming down on this home where they thought Robert Carr might have been at, and that of course wasn't the case. But here we have a McDonald's in front of me, we have the Walgreens I mentioned, we have a Subway, a very different spot. And a little while ago we were talking about the deaf community, and I'd like to add to that conversation. I chatted with a sister whose brother died at Schmenge's. His name was Brian McFarland, and he was a member of the deaf community, and he was there on a night out to play cornhole. A cornhole tournament was happening at the Bar and Grill, and it was a place, his sister tells me, Brian went every Wednesday with the deaf community, and he was very involved. But I want to toss back to the anchors now.
All right, Alex is there in Lisbon, where the body of Robert Carr was found. We are told, according to Senator Angus King, that he was found at Maine Recycling Corporation. They're not far from where Alex was just standing, found in the same clothes he was wearing the night police say that he opened a fire on a bowling alley. And we are expecting to hear from police on specifics of their investigation in just any moment now.
And again, his body was found within hours of the latest briefing we had from police, where they were being very clear of, they talked a lot today about the dive team that was going to be going into the water, likely tomorrow because they didn't get to it today because of the grid search and how time consuming that all is. But police were also very clear of saying the sun was dropping quickly for their daylight hours to do that, and how glad they were that the forecast shows us having a sunny morning tomorrow, because that would help in the search in the water there. So it is really quite a huge development that to leave that briefing with kind of the anticipation for all of us that we're in for another full day of searching, and then have this discovery just within a few hours of getting that information.
But it does make you wonder what they did know, because that shelter in place was lifted and even last night in that press conference they were saying that they were combing the body, they were combing the river rather for quote unquote bodies, possibly. This, of course, is a major development, and we're looking forward to hearing more details any moment now.
Yeah, and even kind of giving some fair warning this morning too. Expect Lisbon to be, a very active area throughout the day. So it will be interesting to hear what they know, what they found out. Chris, did you have something?
No, one thing that struck me was when we were reading the statement from Senator Collins, we learned something very significant about this situation, that the president himself knew that the suspect was dead and called Senator Collins to inform her.
Yeah, so here's part of the statement here.
This is Senator Collins' statement saying, "Tonight, Mainers can breathe a collective sigh of relief thanks to the brave first responders who worked night and day to find this killer." When President Biden called me this evening to tell me that the perpetrator of these heinous attacks in Lewiston had been found, we both expressed our profound appreciation for the courage and determination of these brave men and women. The statement goes on to the families to say who lost loved ones and those injured by the attack. I know that no words can diminish the shock, pain, and justifiable anger you feel. It is my hope that you will find solace and strength in knowing that you are in the hearts of people throughout Maine and across the nation. I find it interesting that the attention on this case spans far beyond Maine. We've seen that with all the reporting that's been going on, the news crews that have come here, but it rose all the way to the level of the president.
And again, I think part of what made this so unique was the not captured part. So often when we see mass shootings in other parts of the country that we're reporting on, that's the follow-up line. That there was this mass shooting, a suspect is in custody, or a mass shooting, or a suspect is dead. And that was the variable here that really changed the storyline, that got so much attention, and obviously that of the White House. And Governor Mills had told us that she had spoken just in the first night when this happened on Wednesday night, twice with the president. So not surprised, but it is interesting that the White House was so connected to what's going on right in our home.
Yeah, and going back to Lisbon, and I know you were there night one, day one, on the scene there when they had really shut down much of that community.
Right.
What was that like?
I mean, it was, when we first got there, it was extremely active. There was a heavy police presence there, as to be expected, a chopper that was flying over for hours. And it was right near where his body was found. I mean, we were blocked off. Lisbon Street was blocked off towards, if you were headed towards Lisbon Center, if people are at home are familiar with the area. right by the gas station there on the corner. And then on the other side, it was just about a mile from that gas station and then the next roadblock. So it was kind of included within that blocked off area. And so this really has, since day one, since Robert Carr's car was found at that boat launch, it has been an area of focus. And it'll be interesting to hear the new tactics put in place by law enforcement to be able to discover the body of Robert Carr this time around.
Right there.
Yeah.
You're seeing a shot right now ahead of the press conference that was slated for 10 o'clock. We're told the governor is going to be attending. And that's one of the city spokespeople right there behind the podium right now. To her left in the black is the American Sign Language interpreter. I'm being told that she is a classmate and co-worker of Joshua Seal.
Wow. And she and Joshua were both interpreters that helped lead us all through the pandemic.
Yeah.
So when we talk about Maine being a big, small town, this is the example of that. I actually was watching in preparation for an 11 o'clock newscast tonight, Vivian Lee's package on Joshua. We had done stories with him in the past on that camp and got emotional myself as someone who we saw every time Dr. Shah took to the microphone to give us the latest information through the pandemic, and all of the victims, 18 of them there on your screen.
And Joshua is so passionate about helping other people.
There he is right there.
Yeah, this is what we saw so much to help us get through difficult times. He was slated, as Vivian was reporting today, slated to do some sign language for the vice president before all of this happened. So very established individual in that community.
Yeah, and 4 members of the deaf community that are watching
Such a
tonight and
shame.
hearing this news.
All
We've
these
heard
people
from some
lost
of
their
them
lives.
thanking us for including the
To this
interpreter
one
in
person.
the picture on the screen next to the podium, because it's important for them to get that information. So just another reminder to our crews to make sure that we stay wide to include her in this press conference.
So again, we are waiting. We're about 15 minutes now past the
had to go like
anticipated
that.
start time of this press briefing. You can only imagine the volume of information that our law enforcement leaders are trying to compile and make succinct before coming and sharing all of the information with us about the discovery of his body tonight, again in Lisbon. Near or at where he previously worked in Lisbon as well. So again, this is the photo you've been looking at now for 48 hours that we've all been looking at, kind of with that request from police to say, if you see anything, call us. If you hear anything, call us. We are getting word, as you can see here, and the governor is taking the podium at Lewiston City Hall.
Waiting on this one.
Thank you very much for coming. Excuse me, coming here on short notice. I stand here tonight to simply report that the Maine State Police have located the body of Robert Carr in Lisbon. He is dead. I've called President Biden to inform him about this news. I've informed Senator King, Senator Collins, Representative Ingby, and Representative Golden. Commissioner Sauschuck will describe the circumstances of that discovery in some detail in a few moments. But this discovery is entirely thanks to the hundreds of local, county, state, and federal law enforcement members from all over, and people from other states as well. People who searched tirelessly to arrive at this moment. And on behalf of all Maine people, I want to express my profound gratitude for their unwavering bravery and determination and fortitude, and for the leadership of Lewiston Police Chief St. Where'd he go? Right there, yeah, that guy. Lewiston Police Chief St. Pierre. Like many people, I'm breathing a sigh of relief tonight, knowing that Card is no longer a threat to anyone.
To anyone. I know there are some people, and many people, who share that sentiment, but I also know that his death may not bring solace to many. But now is a time to heal. And with this search concluded, I know that law enforcement continues to fully investigate all the facts so we can bring what closure we can to the victims
For the record,
of their
that
families.
was their audio,
And I
not
ask
mine.
that all Maine people continue to keep those families
I know I'm
and
famous
all of
for
the
it.
people impacted by this tragedy in their thoughts and prayers. Lewiston is a special place. This isn't us. Lewiston is a great place. It's a close-knit community of fine people, people with a long history, a history of hard work, of persistence, of faith, of opening its big heart to people everywhere. And tonight, the city of Lewiston and the state of Maine begin to move forward on what will be a long and difficult road to healing, but we will heal together. Thank you, and again, my deepest gratitude. Gratitude of all the people of the state of Maine, to these wonderful members of law enforcement who came from all over to help us solve this crime and put closure on this investigation. Robert Carr is dead. Now I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Sauschuck.
Thank you very much, Governor. We truly do appreciate all of your support. I think it's incredibly important that the next person that speaks this evening is Lewiston's chief law enforcement champion, and that is Dave St. Pierre. Dave.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Governor, for allowing me this opportunity. Bear with me, please. I certainly did not have much time to prepare a speech here. I want to say to everybody, thank you so much. Our community can now breathe a sigh of relief, as the Governor stated, and I can't echo that enough. Our work, again, is not done here. I was very elated tonight when I got the call from Commissioner Sauschuck advising me of the revelation of what took place and that Mr. Carr is deceased and no longer a threat to our community or any other community. I just don't want to forget the families that are grieving and will continue to grieve. I don't want to forget the law enforcement officials that have worked tirelessly throughout this whole event to come to a good conclusion. Our men and women of the Lewiston Police Department, of all of our surrounding agencies. We have with us Chief McGee here from Lisbon, where Mr. Carr was found. This is vitally important to all of us that this conclusion came to light tonight. We're gonna grieve for the families that lost loved ones here. Continue to work. We're going to persevere, and we become better people for it in terms of working together as teams. We've learned a lot from some mistakes. We've won a lot of accomplishments this evening. Again, I wasn't really prepared for this on a Friday night at 10:30, but I'm very happy to be here and very happy to say the threat is over. Thank you.
Did you see a reaction from your officers when they got the news of this? Your officers who have been working this case.
Sure. So our officers are being notified now as we speak. Some know, obviously, sooner than others. There are many that are still home. They're home with their families. And I'm quite certain at this point in time, we all know about this. This is something that all of our law enforcement personnel, ours and any surrounding community, has been paying very close attention to in awaiting positive news or good news. And this is by far the best news we've had in quite some time.
Thank you.
Was there any belief at this time that the suspect was dead before finding him, or did this come as a brand new revelation that you never saw coming before this?
So our reality here is that the search has been extensive, it's been thorough, it's been nonstop since the minute we started speaking with you and long before that. So all of these options are on the table, as we knew. We continue to search locations, in some cases multiple times. We will have more information about exactly how this went down. We're going to have another briefing tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And I would please encourage you to think about next steps from your end, information that you would find important. I will say that this is not going to be a long Q&A this evening. We wanted to make sure that we got this information out as fast as possible and as responsible as possible. And what I mean by that is that the time between the notification of the press release and now, there wasn't a lot of details there. There wasn't a lot of details there because we wanted to talk to the victims' families. We wanted to say, this is coming. It's important that they heard that information as close to first as anybody else. And you know who else we called? Was the family of the suspect. And they lost a loved one in this scenario. And there were many of that family that was very cooperative with us throughout. So they deserve that phone call. So we had those conversations tonight before joining you here. We also got a chance to spend some time with the brothers and sisters of law enforcement and our public safety partners that have been so incredibly helpful over the last few days, to say the least.
Any other reaction from the family, sir?
So right here, sir.
Where exactly did you find him, and when exactly did you find him?
So at 7:45 this evening is when Mr. Carr was located. I won't give you an exact address. It was near the river along Androscoggin in Lisbon Falls was the actual location. Ma'am, did you have a question?
Body found from the location where you were.
Ma'am, did you have a question?
When do police think he died?
That all remains to be seen, right? So the reality is that we found that body at 7:45 and it's 10:25 now. So there continues to be a lot of work that needs to be done here at the scene with the medical examiner's office. So there's a much more follow-up to what happened. Sir, did you have a question?
Any indications that he had an accomplice, and how was he found?
I won't be able to answer either one of those questions at this point. Accomplices and things of that nature, we've had no indication of that since the very beginning. But as we've talked about before, these next steps are going to gives us an opportunity to do things as fast as we can in the sense that we want to provide closure and information, but also slow things down a little bit because we need to look at video evidence, we need to look at various pieces of technology that are in play here, in hopes that that gives us some additional information around some of the things that you're going to be
Can you
concerned
share the
about.
reaction
Yes,
from
ma'am.
family members, please?
We understand that he was found at the recycling center where he had previously worked. Can you help us understand more? Had you searched previously this recycling center and not found anything? And in addition to that, we understand that possibly he may have recently been fired from this recycling center. Can you answer that?
Yeah, I'm happy to take a look at that information in hopes that I can get that back to you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. That remains to be seen. Again, we have attorney generals that we need to work with and other individuals that are in play here. I'm going to take a couple more questions again with the mindset that it's 10 o'clock tonight, and we do want to come back tomorrow morning.
Commissioner?
You left the shelter in place this afternoon. So by this afternoon, were you just looking for remains? Or, how did you make that decision to lift the shelter in place?
Yeah, sure. So I think that that was an ongoing conversation since the minute we actually put that in place. We knew that was an important decision. Certainly from our perspective, it made complete sense to put that order in place immediately based on the violent nature and the traumatic nature of these crimes. And as things progressed over the next few days, since Wednesday to now, we've had a lot of conversations with various town and city leadership, with the governor's office, with Chief St. Pierre, with business owners, with residents, and we have to have that balancing act of pluses and minuses. And we had that initial surge with those communities, and those communities made perfect sense for an order, and as things tended to slow down, we didn't have any immediate threats, we made the decision to back off that. I would also just want to mention this because a fellow commissioner had asked me to do this. And I could walk out of here forgetting it, but Commissioner Camuso said that, and passed along, that actually that hunting restriction has been lifted as well. So the resident hunting opportunity for tomorrow is open across the state of Maine to include those 4 communities with a lot of phone calls that she would receive around that. But right here, ma'am?
There are reports that he was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Can you confirm that?
Yes, I can confirm that. It's an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Commissioner?
Yes. Sorry, I just wanted to follow up. You searched that area before, as I understand it. Can you explain why he was only found this other time that you searched this area? Just explain that.
I didn't state that we had searched that
No,
area.
we know,
so-
we know, no,
So-
no,
Chief from the
our
Lisbon Police Department,
our
sir.
reporting says that you searched this area before.
Okay.
So just follow.
I was there yesterday when they were searching.
As we have stated in the past, we try to use information that we can confirm one way or the other. So your reporting can say something one way or the other, and that's fine. We can talk about that again tomorrow morning, but I think we're done taking questions for this evening. Thank you very much for your patience.
Yes, but you have any other questions?
Commissioner, what was in the suicide note?
Okay, we're all set. We're all done. 10 a.m. tomorrow.
You've been watching.
Yeah, so that's it. He's over.
Carr's body was found. He's dead, as the governor also pointed out, from a suspected.
Officially over.
I imagine that's terminology that is often used because, when someone is found dead, they are taken to the medical examiner's office and there's an official cause of death determined. But at this point, police say all indications are it was a self-inflicted gunshot.
Right, and we know that his body, again, found just barely a mile from where they found his car at that boat launch there in Lisbon.
See, I gotta be real careful. Again.
That it was probably a self-inflicted gunshot. I don't know how he died. There's no information on that. Just says they found his body, that he's dead. But more likely than not, that he took his own life. And I'm not surprised if he did that. It would take a while, depending on where he did it. And again, he picks his location. It could have been someplace very difficult to find, and we've seen that in a number of cases where. Towards somebody or somebody's saying something, and when they find a note, that's usually an indicator that
He is
they're probably gonna
over.
find that they basically took their own life. And I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, there could be other circumstances. We have so little information here. I am kind of speculating that he took his own life.
Very, very little information.
We don't have that.
Even after the press
It seems like
conference.
a logical inference, but
We don't have much of anything right now.
I just want to reset here. Hal Kemper is with us. If you're just joining us here, it's almost 6:30 on the West Coast, almost 9:30 there in Lewiston, Maine on this Friday night. And we're getting reports in. Fox has confirmed that the suspect in the mass shooting there in Maine, this rampage that left 18 innocent people shot and killed. Well, the suspect who allegedly carried all of that out, 40-year-old Robert Carr, has been found dead. And so, Al, we have been over some of these scenes in and around Maine throughout the last 48 hours, and we heard from officials today they lifted the shelter-in-place orders for several counties just this afternoon, probably about 3 hours ago. Could that have been a sign, maybe, that they had known something then, if it was safe, if the all clear?
See, that's the thing. I had a feeling that I'm not playing Sunday quarterback, or Monday morning quarterback. I'm exhausted.
And it's very rare. I kind of go back to some of the shootings taken with
I knew that he wasn't coming out of this. I called it in in the live earlier, I hinted towards it prior to this. Sad for his family, but horrible for all the rest of the families who actually, not that they're not going through it. I don't mean it like that. But at the same time, everyone who suffered from what he what this man did is unfathomable. God bless them all, and I pray that they all everybody pulls through that. This isn't something I normally would cover. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one of these again. I appreciate everybody who came along for the ride. Yeah. I'm just probably going to end it there with that. There's nothing more to say. Again, my heart goes out to the victims and everyone who's been hurt in this tragedy. God bless. All the best. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. Good night.